Hey folks, welcome back. So, a long time ago, I used to play my Sudoku game on a website called dailysudoku.com, and it came offline or they updated or something. So I went to the New York Times and was just double checking for today's puzzle, and they're back. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate back to this one. One of the things I liked about it is that it rotated the difficulties. You don't get to necessarily pick which difficulty, and what I enjoyed about that is it changed my mindset. Sometimes I get focused on the patterns and the techniques for a hard puzzle, and then I totally miss out on the strategies for other puzzles because I use different techniques. So this particular difficulty, I know my image is in the way there, is a medium. So this is going to use different strategies. So sometimes I find the medium puzzles actually harder than the hard or the very hard puzzles because my brain just isn't used to those strategies. So we're going to give this guy a go, and I haven't used this one in a while. I think it's if I hold the shift key and type the number, there we go, is my pencil. All right, or control. So the very first thing that I did notice here in this line, I've got three numbers missing. I've got a 1, a 2, I need a 3. What's got to be here and here. I can't have a 3 in the center because of this guy here. We've got a 4. Now I need a 5, and this 5 blocks this. So this is called a double lock, folks. These two cells, they can only be 3s and 5s. So the only other number that we're missing, this is the only place that'll fit, which is a 9. So even though I don't have any 9 in the top or the bottom to rule these right and left columns out, I know they can't be here because the 3 and the 5s take those up. So that has to become our 9. So double locks, super important, super fun to help us out. Okay, I'm starting to go to, my mind is going to pairs. I see a pair of 4s across the bottom and the top, and a 4 through the middle. All right, I see a pair of 8s, they come across, and then I have an 8 in the right and the center. So this is the only spot left for an 8. Got the 4s, got the 8s. I don't see any other pairs against these 3. Let's look on these 3 here. I've got a pair of 1s, and then a 1 down here, so I know I have to have a 1 here. 4 comes across the top, 4 through the center, so I have to have a 4 here. I think that's all the pairs I see going horizontally. Let's look at the pairs here horizontally. Pair of 8s, top and bottom, and then 1 through the center. So I have to have an 8 here and here. That's all the pairs I see at the moment. So now let me look vertically. Got a pair of 2s. So my 2 has to be top or bottom. Pair of 9s, center and right, and then this 9 here comes across the top. So this is actually the only spot left for a 9. That helps us here in the center now. We have a 9 across the top, 9 across the bottom. So the 9 has to be here in the middle. I have to stretch my fingers, that's why I do that little. Okay, let's see what else we have. We have a pair of 4s going down, center and right, and then 1 through the middle. So we have to have a 4 here. Do I see any other pairs? 2s, 9s, 4s. Okay, let's look at these 3 in the center here. I have a pair of 8s left and right. So we have to have an 8 here in the middle. Okay, so we had a 4 here, but I missed this 4 here. So this one is the only spot that can actually be a 4. Let's see, I don't see any other pairs hopping out real quick. Let's look at these 3. Pair of 9s, center and left, and then we have a 9 across the bottom, so only one spot left for the 9. Now that 9 and the 9 across the bottom are going to mirror the 9s we have at the top. I have a pair of 6s here, right and center, only one spot left for the 6. Okay. Pair of 4s down the left and the center, only one spot left for the 4. Now this 4 is going to come back here and help us with these 2. This is the only one that can be a 4 now. Clean that pencil mark up. Alright, so we're starting to fill out some numbers here pretty quick. So once I go through the pairs, then I go back and I can look at pairs both horizontally and vertically at the same time. You know, like here's a 1 this way and here's a 1 this way type of thing. But the other thing that I do at the same time too is I can start looking at the numbers. So if I look at all the 1s and see where they go, and then I can look at all the 2s. But let me go back and look at cross looking here and see if there's anything that jumps out real quick. Okay, looking for... so like for instance here, this 5 comes down and this 5 comes across, right? Okay, so that means I have to have a 5 in one of these two spots. So now I have a 5 that can't go here. This 5 says it can't go here. So I actually have to have a 5 here or here. These ghost rows, even though I don't know which 5 it is, one of these two has to be a 5, so I can't have another 5 in this row. Ghost rows, ghost columns, very important. Okay. Alright, so I have to have a 1 up here in this cube, but it can't be in one of these two. Okay, so it can't. Oh, there we go. See, this 1 comes down. There we go. And we have to have a 1 in one of these two. So we have another ghost row here and a solid one here. So one of these two is our 1. Okay, I have a 3 that comes right through the middle, which only leaves me 2 spots for my 3. Now this ghost row comes down and says I can't have a 3 here or here. So that means my 3 has to go here or here. Okay, that's helpful. Alright, so I've got my 1 and my 3. Where's my 2? I don't have a ton of 2's in this game just yet. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it looks like our 7's going to be our other tricky one. Which it looks like this is my only 7 in the whole game at the moment. Okay. So I still have a 2 and a 7 I need up here. That's alright. And I need a 2 and a 7 here. Okay, so see it's going to be my go-to here is my 2's and my 7's. Okay, 1, 2, no help there. 3, no help. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Alright. Okay. My mind keeps getting drawn to this guy here for a moment. Let's take a look. 9, my 8 comes down, so I have 3 spots for my 8. 7, okay, cool. Pair of 6's, 6 down the left, 6 through the center. Only spot left for 6 is right here. Alright, now I have a 6 that comes across the top, 6 through the middle. I have to have a 6 down here. Okay, I have a 6 across the bottom, 6 across the middle, 6 across the left. So the only spot for 6 is there. That helps us with these two that we just put 6's. So we can get rid of that 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All of our 6's are done for the puzzle. That cleans that up a smidge. Very good. And then the only two numbers that I don't have written out here in the center one is the 2 and the 7. The 2 and the 7. Okay. So I have a 2 and a 7 here. So I know I need an 8. Okay, so this 8 does come down. Now, cool folks, check this out here. See how we just created this ghost row? So that helps us with these two. It says this one can no longer be an 8 because one of these two has to be an 8, so you can't have another one in that column. There's our help for that one. 3, any help for the 3? And then what's the other number we're missing? Oh, a 5. A 5. A 3 and a 5. Okay. Alright, so this 1 does come up, and this 1 comes across. I only have 2 spots for the 1, so we'll mark that one. We've got our 2 identified. 3 comes across. Does that help us anywhere else? No, but I did notice another number here going here vertically. We'll come back to that here in just a moment. We've got a 4. Okay, so the 5 comes across. So I still have 3 spots. I'm not going to mark it yet. 6, 7 comes up, so I have 3 spots. Not going to mark it. 8, 9. Okay. What I noticed, anytime there's a row, column, or cube that only has 3 numbers in it, so for instance, this column, I like to look and see what I've got. So I've got a 1, got my 2 identified. I need a 3. Now a 3 could go here. Yes, 3 could go here. Yes, a 3 could go here. 4. Now I need a 5. Now I can't have a 5 here because of this guy. Could have one here. Yes. Oh, but look at this. I can't have one here. So this is actually the only spot that I could have a 5. Now this is the only spot that could be a 2. And now 3 is the only number that we have left for that column. So that helped us out quite a bit because we were being a little slow. We didn't have a lot of 3s. Let's put it that way. So now we got more 3s. We were being slided some 3s. So now we got our 3s. And we got a couple other numbers up here. Let's see what else. We just put some numbers in here, so this should help us out here a little bit. Cool. So this 5 comes across, this 5 comes across. We now have a double lock. Like we had this double lock right here, this is now double lock. So the 2 numbers we're missing, which happen to be a 2 and a 7, if you didn't guess, have to go here. Now we have a helpful 2 here, so that means this one has to be our 7. So that means this one has to be our 2. Okay. And now I can kind of look around and see if that gave us, I have a 2 here across the top, I have a 2 across the bottom, so our 2 has to be in the middle, and we still have a 7 somewhere. So right here, these 2 have to be a 3 and a 7. Those are the only 2 numbers left in this column, so a 3 and a 7, a 3 and a 7. We have 2 numbers here, which happen to be a 1 and a 3, a 1 and a 3. Okay, and then this one here can't be a 3, but it can be a 1 or a 7. So I have a ghost row. 7 comes down this direction, so my 7 has to be over here. Okay, cool. All right, so I need a 1, and that can be anywhere. 2, 3, 4, and I need a 5, and that could be anywhere. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, cool. All right, so we're getting some of these numbers down. Putting some numbers down. Let's see here. I've got 3 numbers missing right here. So I need a 1. Well, I've got, this one can't be a 1 here, but either one of these 2 could be a 1. Okay, then I need a 2, which I don't see any help vertically of eliminating a 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I need a 7. Now cool, now that we have this 7 here, it says I can't have a 7 here, my 7s have to go over here. So this is good. For this whole cube, my 7s have to go here. So that means I can't have 7s down here. So one of these 2 has to be a 7. Okay. All right, so any one of these can be a 2. I'm just going to mark them so I don't get myself confused. Pardon me. Okay, now I see I have a 2 down here on the right and a 2 across the bottom, which actually tells me one of these 2 is a 2, which now is going to help us in the center. No 2 on the right, no 2 on the left. These 2s and 8s are now double locked, and these 3s and 5s are double locked. So that tells me that these 2 can only be a 1 or a 7. These double locks, super duper important, folks. Now with these 2 double locked, that tells me this is the only spot that a 7 can go to. Also, you see a 2 and an 8 here. So a 7 is the only spot for this to fit. That'll help us resolve these 2. Okay, now if these 2 are 1s and 7s, well, I have a helpful 7 right there. So that makes this one our 1, makes this one our 7. Okay, now one of these 2 were a 1. Now that we have this one here, this can't be a 1. That makes that a 2. Makes that one a 1. Makes that one our 7. Okay, I'm going to clean up my pencil marks. Super duper important. I get myself confused all the time by not keeping my pencil marks up to date. And in fact, we just put a bunch of numbers in there. Okay, so now the 2, let me clean up my 2. See right there, I about put two 2's in there. Okay, so what two numbers are we missing here? It looks like a 1 and a 5, so let me just jot those in there so don't forget. 1 and a 5, 1 and a 5. Okay, alright, we're coming along nice and neatly. Okay, we have a 1 that does come down here, so our 1 has to go over here. Okay, we have a 2, and then we need a 3 still. Ba-da-bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Saw Mario Brothers yesterday, so I got that tune stuck in my head. Okay, let's see, we need a 3 and a 5 over here. Okay, we're doing good there. Alright, so let's make sure we have everything marked out. Okay, this one's fully marked out, this one's fully marked out. This one is not. Okay, 7 across the top, 7 up the left. This is the only spot left for a 7. So now this one makes this one our 3, makes this one our 7, makes this one our 1, makes this one our 3, and it makes this one our 1. I'm going to clear out our 1. Now these are 2's and 7's, and I have a helpful 7 here. So that means that this one's 7 and this one's 2. Okay, now this is 3. Looks like this is the only spot left for a 5. Okay, so the two numbers I'm missing now are 3 and a 2. Yep, yep, yep. We'll throw the 2 in there. Okay, that means this one here is a 2 and a 3 because it matches with these two, the only numbers they can be. A 2 and a 3. Alright, alright. Now there's a 2 here, so it can't be across the bottom, so 2 has to be here. But a 3 can go any of those spots. There we go. I'm just fully marking out the cubes so I don't get myself confused. Okay, so across the bottom I need a 1, 3, and a 5. So this one can only be a 1 or a 5. This one can't be a 5, but it could be a 1 or a 3. There we go. That's nicely marked out. So I've got a 3 that could go here, here, or here. Okay, I've got my 1 over here, got my 9 over here. Okay, so that's fully marked out. Okay, cool, cool. So I'm looking across this top row here, just going through anywhere that's got 3. I see I've got my 2 in 2 spots. I've got my 8 in 2 spots. Well, here's a 3, right? So, okay, well, I can't have a 3 here, and I can't have a 3 here. So this is actually the only spot left for a 3. This is the only spot left for a 2, and the only spot left for an 8. And that right there is going to help cascade quite a bit. So this 2 makes this one our 8. This 3 makes this one our 2. That 3 makes this one our 2. Okay, and now we can clean up this 2. There we go. 3 and a 5, nice and neat and tidy. Okay, very good. Now I've got a 1 here that now tells me this guy is a 5, which means this one is a 1, which means this one is a 3, this one's a 5, 3. Now that the 3 is gone, the only number left here is a 9. Of course, now with the 3 and the 9, this one becomes a 1. With the 3, this becomes a 5. With the 5, this becomes a 3. Okay, with the 5 here, there's our 9, there's our 5. And then we're missing what? A 5 and a 3. Cool, so there's our 5, there's a 3. So we swap them, 5 and a 3. Dun, da, da, da. There we are, folks. Medium puzzle. This one used a lot of ghost rows. So different difficulties, of course, focus on different strategies. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Always recommend pausing it before, print you off a couple copies, play along with, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.